Hi, this is David McCann for WebTNG. In this video, I'm looking at a new plugin called FluentCommunity. What this plugin does is it allows you to create a community portal to host a community experience on your WordPress website. Now, I'm not going to go into the long history of plugins that have brought community features to WordPress in the past, except to say that a common theme has been that as the community starts to scale up, people see performance issues. It's not that you can't do it, it's just that you need to put a lot of attention on optimization. And the result of that experience has led a lot of people, even WordPress professionals, to host their communities on third-party platforms. Now, the FluentCommunity team's solution to this is that they've created their community portal using separate database tables. So they're not using the standard posts and custom post types that we're all familiar with in WordPress. That has some advantages, obviously performance, as I've just mentioned, but it also has some limiting factors. And I'm going to talk about those kinds of things in the discussion and conclusion at the end of the video. What I'm going to do in the video, though, is I'm going to do a walkthrough of setting up a community more or less from beginning to end. And because the video is long, you'll find a table of contents with jump links in the video description. And as I go along in the video, I'll mention some resources, and you'll find those on the WebTNG website. There'll be a summary of the video with links and that information available. I have a new WordPress website. It's on my local development server. I've just done a couple of things. I installed the free Cadence theme. If we go to plugins, you can see that I have the free Cadence blocks plugin installed. I've installed this because I'm going to use a feature of it as part of the demo, and it was free, so this is a good solution. I also have the all-in-one WP migration plugins installed. I use those for backing up and refreshing the site between testing cycles. Now, I haven't done a lot of other setup steps besides giving a site title, but there are two things that we'll need to do in settings. So let's go and do those. One is that a community is a type of membership site, so we're going to need to allow people to register. So I'm turning that on, and I'm just going to stick with subscriber. We can make do with a subscriber role. You can use roles to provision membership access, but you don't have to, and we're not going to in this video. Let's see, I'll just set the time zone, and let's save changes. And then you're also going to need to have the permalinks set to the pretty permalinks option. All right. Now I'm going to install a free plugin from the same team called FluentAuth. And this is a security and login plugin, and I'll show you why I've installed that. It's pretty easy to configure and set up. Limits the number of login attempts so people can't brute force your login page. Has other features here as well. It has a social login option, which people might be interested in for community. You can log in with your GitHub credentials or Google credentials. But the reasons why I've installed this is it gives you shortcodes that you can use for the login and registration forms. And so then we can embed these on pages, which just makes it a little bit easier and nicer if you have a page in the menu on the site for people to register or for members to log in. And it also gives you the option to redirect to a URL. And we're going to want to redirect people to the community after they log in. So I'm going to save these settings. When it comes time to create these special pages, we'll come back and grab these shortcodes. And it has another feature here that we're going to use, which is custom redirects. Okay, and so we'll want to put in the URL to our community here so that when people log in, they go then to the community. Okay, we'll turn that on when we get to that point. but that's the FluentAuth plugin, which is a nice plugin. All right, now we're ready to install the FluentCommunity plugin. I've downloaded the Pro version already. You get the FluentCommunity, the Pro version, from their website. But one thing to note here is that there are docs, and they'll answer a lot of the questions you might have as you're going through the process of setting up your community. Okay, there is a free version of FluentCommunity in the WordPress plugin directory, and you can check that out. It may have enough features for you. But even if you decide just to use the free plugin, a lot of the steps are going to be the same as we show in this video. I'm going to install and activate. Okay, and so here it is. When we go to the FluentCommunity, the first thing it's going to tell you is to install that free plugin. So it'll do it for us, which is why I didn't download it first. All right, and then we can name our community. For this demo, what I'm doing is setting up a community called Birdwatchers Social Club. It'll be a community for people who are into bird watching, going on bird walks, learning how to ID birds, things like that. Okay, then you can set the slug for your community portal, and I'm going to set it to community. If it happens when we click next that you get a page not found, because we've changed it, you just go into the permalinks and save those, and then you can come back and it'll work. Okay, so community. Then it tells us gives us the option to upload a logo. We can do this later. One thing I like is that for all of the places where we need images, they give you the dimensions that they recommend, so that's nice. And at this point, let's pause, because before we actually start setting up the community, I want to suggest that you have a plan. Because if you just go in to the community and start clicking around and making changes, you're going to miss some things, and in the end you'll learn where things are and how things work, but it'll feel a little chaotic. And instead, what I'm going to suggest you do is two things. First, think what groups and spaces you want to have, and then second, create in advance the recommended images that you need for those groups and spaces. If we look at the community we're going to build here, I did a screenshot of it. And you see along the left side here, there is something called Birdwatcher Community. That's a group. There's another group called Courses, and then a group called Masterclass. In a group, you can have spaces, and there are two types of spaces. There's a discussion space and a course space. This first four here, those are discussion spaces. And the two here under courses are course spaces. And then under Masterclass, we have a discussion space and a course space inside the group. And in my demo, this is like the premium content, where they have an expert teach you about bird photography. Anyway, I'm suggesting that you think in advance what kind of navigation, what kind of groups and spaces you want to create here for the sidebar, because that's going to be a majority of the setup. And then there are several types of images you need. You don't have to remember this. There's going to be this information on the WebTNG website. But basically, you're going to need a light version of your logo that is 480 by 120. And if you want to allow people to switch to dark mode, which I think is nice, then you'll need a logo to work for the dark mode that's 480 by 120. And then you'll need an open graph image for your community that's 1200 by 630. Okay, that's if your community, a link to your community gets shared on social media, that'll be the image that will show. Then for each space, you're going to need an open graph image, that 1200 by 630, and then what I'm calling a featured image, which is 1600 by 500. I've already created these for our demo, so you'll see, this in action. And then we're also going to need an image for our feed. So let's go ahead and upload the image. And so we're looking for a light version of the logo. And what that is it's, a dark gray text because the background is white. Okay. So click to next. And then depending on what you choose here, it will kind of give you a pre-configuration to get started. I'm going to go with blank. And even blank doesn't give us a totally blank slate. But because I want to show you how to set it up, we'll just go with blank. And we'll continue to next. So now these settings you can change. I'll show you as we go through the settings. But for this wizard, you have the option, you can have a public forum. Maybe you have a product or service. You want people to have a read-only access to the community. They'll still need to create an account if they want to post. But that's something that I've seen people do. But we're going to go with only people who are logged in. Now, integrated marketing automation. What that will do is it will install Fluent CRM. A lot of times people want to use emails from their community, like if you have a mention or, you want to send out a digest of new topics or something. And so Fluent CRM provides that functionality. Another really good thing that it has is it has some automations for the community already. Okay, and I think another automation plugin, Flowmatic, is adding support for FluentCommunity. I'm going to leave that checked and it'll get installed. I'll try to show you where those automations are. Then there is Fluent SMTP for setting up your outgoing email. I have a video on this. I like this plugin, but for this demo, we just don't need it. Demo is going to be long enough, but that's something worth doing. Then you can sign up for their email newsletter. I've already done that. And you can help improve the product by sharing some non-sensitive statistics with the team if you want to do that. All right, now we have like a dashboard here. Okay, you can go to the portal, you can enter your license, you can go to the FluentCommunity community. And that's a cool thing about this is the WP Managed Ninja team, people behind FluentCommunity. They use this plugin themselves, and the beta testers have been using the FluentCommunity community. So it's getting real life workout as it's being developed. Since we just installed, we're going to need to enter the license. Okay, license has been activated. All right, now portal settings, we're going to see those customizations, advanced features, manage courses. These are all items that we'll see when we go into the portal. Documentation, I showed you that on the FluentCommunity website, showed you where that is. And then you can change the community URL. Remember, we set the slug to be community if you need to change that. Okay, but we go to portal settings. And I mentioned we could have this issue. So let's go to permalinks. And we'll save. Now let's go back. And we got in. Okay. Now here are all of the settings. And basically we're just going to go through these menus here. So here is the logo that we uploaded for light background. We'll get the one for the dark background, which is basically white text. So you can't see it here. We'll get the open graph image. Now you can enable global post status, which means the user can post without selecting a space. And then you can do portal access settings. Okay, you can have it for everyone, only logged in users, or you can limit it to user roles. So I'm going to do it for logged in users, but if you wanted to create a special user role for the community, then you could do that. Or if you wanted to have a user role for free use access and another one for premium access, you could do that as well. Okay, but I'm just going to go logged in users. And then this is the redirect for people, like if a public user somehow gets to the community, this will redirect them to whatever page you want, like the page for them to join and sign up. Okay, and then this is the login URL. We're going to need to come back and get that when we set up the registration and login pages. Okay, so I'll save settings. Then we'll go to customizations. This gives the option for dark mode. Okay, which I think is nice. Enable sticky headers. You'll see there's some navigation buttons up here and things, so we'll leave that enabled. Show default feed link in the sidebar, that'll be up over here. Show powered by text, that'll be down here if you want to show that. Show icons on the header menu items, so we'll check that, and we'll use enhanced color contrast for better accessibility. So this puts the image after the title and content. This puts it before. And then whether or not people have to create or add a title when they post. So it'll be optional. Okay, then managers, we don't have any other members yet, but you can assign people to help you moderate the community if you have a big community or you have several people on your team. Email settings, so you can customize the emails that are sent out. And so this is something you'll want to do. And then you can set the notification options here also. Okay, if we go to features and add-ons, the leaderboard module, what that does is there's kind of a hierarchy of levels. And so based on users' activity, they get points, like if they post or comment, whatever, they get points, and they slowly go up and get a new level. It's kind of a gamification option. As you can see, you can change the names to fit the theme of your community or product or whatever. There are user badges if you want to show a badge by people's names. I think I'd probably have one for admin and moderators, or if you have experts or things like that, maybe event coordinators, support people, you could create badges here. Whenever you see this little edge, little space here next to a title, this is where you can click. You can pick an emoji. You can pick a custom shape and set the color. You can upload the SVG text, code here, which you can get by looking at the source, of a page or of an SVG, or you can upload a photo. Okay. Then you can enable course module, and this is just enable it. The Giphy module, there's a free sign up for this, but you have to get an API key. Emojis are enabled. And then the media module, you have an option whether you want local storage or to use Cloudflare or Amazon S3. So if you're hosting a portal like for a photography site or something, or where people are going to upload videos or images for support, you likely want to set up one of these for image storage. Okay, then these are the extra plugins you can install. They have a free chat plugin that you can use with the FluentCommunity. I'll install it just so I can show you what the UI looks like. We already installed the Fluent CRM, Fluent Forms for taking money. That might be a way to, you can do that through Fluent Forms. You can do it through WooCommerce. There are lots of options for that. Fluent SMTP we talked about. They also have a support plugin, and so if you were having your community for a product or service, then it would make sense to install the support plugin. Then you can create topics. Okay, so people then can apply those. It makes it easier to search and group posts together. Then this is where you go to create groups. You see it says group space, but you actually only create groups here. And give it a title. The slug you see can't be changed. So that's one of the reasons why I said, plan out in advance what groups you want. So it's not something where, you would start out like me doing a bird watching club and then change totally around because you can't change the slugs. For groups, there's the option to show them the spaces even for people who aren't members. So we'll see this in action, but the idea is let people know that there is premium content. And then when they go to try to click on it, it says this is premium content, sign up. All right, I'm going to come back to this in a minute. Menu settings, these are the items across the top. You can enable them or disable them, and you can change the names if you don't like spaces and groups as the names. You could change those. Members, this is a directory of all the members. For some groups, like for a tech support, for a plugin, you might not want to show all of the members there. So it's an option to disable that. And for something like that, you might not want the gamification feature. Then in the profile drop-down over here, you have my spaces, my bookmarks. You can bookmark topics that you want to come back to, and then a log out option. But you note that you can add links to all of these. Okay, top links at the sidebar up over here, and then sidebar bottom links down here. And you can add your own group. All right, I don't think we changed anything here. Then for privacy settings, who can view the all members page? Well, only logged in members. Who can view membership spaces? Only logged in is what I want. And then there's an option, let users change their community username. Okay, then for course management here, you can add courses and sections and lessons. We'll come back to that in a few minutes. But let's go see what we have here now. Okay, here is that top menu. We have the icons on there. We have this little bubble here because we enabled chat. Okay, so you can search for people and you can type your chat messages in there if you want to enable chat. These are the groups here. To play it way you create spaces is you click over here to create a space. Okay, but I don't want to get started. Okay, so I'm going to go here, go to spaces and groups. So let's delete it. And then we'll create a new group. And our group is going to be called Birdwatching Community. I think I would just give a one-word slug. And then this is the place to talk about birding. Okay, so we'll create it. And if you wanted to edit this, as I said, you can change the title and the description and this option here. Okay, but now to add our spaces under it, you go out here and you click this plus sign. So you can have a discussion space or a course space. And what I'm going to do is add a shape here, and we'll give it, we'll choose a color. And then our title, welcome, start here. And then let's say, check out the community rules and introduce yourself. Okay, then we have options here. Public, any member can view posts without joining. Only members can create posts. Private, anyone can view the basic info. Only members can view and create posts. Or secret, who can view space members? Any logged in users. Only admin or moderators can create posts. You might use this if you have an announcement area. Show right sidebar activity. You can have a timeline or a list. You can enable group chat. And this is where we start with some of these images. Okay, we create it. We are here now in our space. We go to space settings here. You see now there are places where you can add topics. Okay, these are like your tags or whatever. And it seemed to have lost our OG image. All right. So that's how you create a discussion space. Let's seed it with a first post. So the community is now open. Let's get the party started. All right, you can see you can add images, a video, like if you wanted to record a welcome video. You can do a poll or you can have reactions. So let's post. Okay, then people can come, they can give a reaction or they can comment. All right, so when we go to feed, you see it shows here. There's something else I wanted to show you is that you can add a welcome banner and manage links to your feed. Okay, it's kind of hidden away there. I didn't see it at first. Here's the size. It's 1680 by 600. All right. And then you can add a button if you want to have a call to action, and you can allow members to close the welcome banner because they might get tired of it after a while. So now if we go back to the feed, we see this is here first. Okay, and then there's the option to manage links. So let's add a link and we'll give this a shape. And we'll say go to main website. And then we'll grab the URL of the website. Okay. And we'll save. And let's go look now. That's where you get those links like that. Okay. All right. So we've created our first discussion group. I'm going to pause the video and create a few more just to kind of fill this out, but it's going to be the same process, so you don't need to see the repetition. Okay, so you can see I've added 4 discussion areas here. Welcome, bird sightings, equipment talk, and events. Okay, up here it has a little toggle to hide the spaces underneath if you want. Things are looking pretty good here. Let's do a little bit of a tour of the UI here, and then let's add a user just so we can see we're on the right track. Here you have your user profile, your spaces, and your bookmarks. But if we go here, we can edit our profile. We can upload an image, a cover image. We can add our name and our website and biography. You can add, if you've got 5 options for social links, you can verify the account, you can set the account to pending or blocked, and since we allowed it, you can change the community username. Otherwise, I think an admin has to change it. All right, so our profile is done. This takes us to the feed. We have the feed here, here. Spaces, that's like we had over here. Courses, we don't have any set up yet. Members, just me. And the leaderboard. That's across the top here. Down here you have the settings, which we went through a minute ago. And then this goes back to the WordPress dashboard. So while we're here, let's go ahead and set up so we can add a user, a member to the community. Now, remember in FluentAuth, there's this option for redirects. So let's enable that. And let's go to another tab and grab that URL. And we'll put that in here and save. And then let's go and set up a registration form. So we'll copy this short code here. And let's go add a new page. And we'll say register. Join the community by registering here. We'll put in our short code. Let's paste in that URL again. Okay, and we'll publish. Let's go to the front end. All right, and so we see it added it automatically here. If we go to it, it's going to tell us that we are already logged in and we're already registered too. So let's get another browser window now. Got another browser. Let's refresh, get that link, and we'll register a user. My dog's name is Pippa. Okay, we're going to need to go to the mail catcher here. All right, and this is a few seconds ago, so that's the one. Here's the verification code. And we will paste that in. If we've done this right, we're going to go into the community, so let's see what happens. We made it, okay? Awesome. So, very nice. Can we go in here now? Yes. Okay, can we comment? Please join. Ah, yeah. Okay, so we have to join. And because we have it for logged in users, that's all it takes. And glad to be here. So we've got our first user. You see how it works here. Now let's go and add a couple of courses. So I'll go back to the admin user and let's go to home. We're going to need to add a group. Okay, we're going to need to add a group then for our courses. And we'll call the group courses. Courses to learn about birds and birding. Okay. And then we'll go and we'll add a course. Okay, our first course will be all about birds. And the description is learn about birds, public, only members who are added, menu group, self-paced, then you have, you just go through the content as you want. It can be structured so that it's dripped out relative to the enrollment date or scheduled so that it starts on a particular date and dripped out relative to that date. We're going to go self-paced, published. We'll upload our image. Okay, and we'll create. Okay, and then we add a section And our section is going to be Introduction. And we'll add a lesson. And this is going to be Fun Start to Learning About Birds. Okay, so you can embed a WordPress type O embed for YouTube or Vimeo or other video hosting services. You can add custom HTML code if you want to embed maybe a quiz or something from an online option where that gives you an embed code. Okay, I'm going to paste in the share URL for a YouTube video, and we'll click embed, and then the length so people know how long it's going to be. You can enable it, enable comments if you want. And then for the lesson, you could actually have your own text version of the video or put in your transcript or something. This is a slimmed down version of Gutenberg, so you're probably familiar with it. Fun video about birds. And then I'll just put in some dummy text here. All right, and we'll save. Oops, I want to make it published. Okay, and then we will go back and we'll add another lesson. This will be fun facts about birds. Oops. Fun facts about birds. And we'll put in that embed. These are just for a demo. I just got some videos from YouTube about birds. And we'll put in the length of this one. Okay, and I think Markdown is supported. Okay, and we'll save. And we'll go back to lessons. Now, one thing I wanted to show you is here, you can add the title or delete. Edit lesson content title or delete. Okay, here is where you can go and see an overview and edit the course information there. You can see the number of students and the average completion rate, and then your students. You can add a student. So let's go back now to the front end, and we see here is our course. It's showing as a draft. All right, so let's go set this course to be published. All right. Okay, so there is our course. Let's go to our user. Well, look, there is an alert. Pippa commented. And if we go to our user now, and let's refresh, Pippa now sees the course. That grad hat doesn't show up very well in dark mode. So I can change that, but I believe Pippa will be able to enroll. And then when you enroll, you can see your lessons. Okay, I need to go back. I haven't published both of them. So let's see. That needs to be published. Okay, if I go to edit the course, that didn't work so well. So let's do a shape. All right, and let's go now and refresh. All right, so we see both of our lessons. You go into one, here's the video. You can mark your lesson as complete. We've got the commenting turned on. When the user completes the lesson, then it shows as complete. So that's kind of the way the courses work. See, it's kind of basic, but it's the minimal that you need to get the job done. You could embed quizzes or things like that from platforms if you have access to those. All right, this is what I wanted to show you in the setup steps. We haven't gone in deep and looked at every single thing, but we've touched all the high points. So what I want to do now is have some discussion and conclusions. FluentCommunity is from the WP Managed Ninja team. This is a well-respected team with good plugins. We saw several of them used in this video. A cool thing about this plugin is that the team has used it internally for a few months and then set up a community with it for beta testers. Everyone saw it in action in the real world, and the team made changes, additions, and tweaks in response to user feedback. FluentCommunity is full-featured, especially given that it's brand new, so it's usable out of the box. We have profiles, membership access levels, discussion groups, courses, the option for restricted premium content, as well as gamification and badges. FluentCommunity is architected as a portal inside of your WordPress site. It's not set up like a custom post type, and that has its pros and cons. On the plus side, it's easier to control what members see, and there isn't a need for a complex membership plugin. There may also be performance benefits to having a separate space with separate database tables. Still, there seems to be a need for a number of plugins in order to provision a community using WordPress, as we saw in the video. Perhaps that's the nature of the beast, or maybe the team can add some of the common requirements to the FluentCommunity plugin to lighten the load. The other side of the coin is, because it's a separate portal, you don't have access to the normal features of WordPress or plugins. And this means that integrations for FluentCommunity have to be created. Their own Fluent CRM has integrations in its automation module, and I've heard that Flowmatic is creating some automation options also. But for this to really take off, I think we'd hope to see more integrations from other third parties. Now, there's a trade-off when you create your own community versus using a platform like Circle. With a third-party platform, you don't have to worry about hosting, performance, security, or setting up an e-commerce option, but you pay a lot for that convenience. When you do it yourself, you do have to administer the site, set up for payments, and keep the server running smoothly, but you have control over your user list and the information, and more importantly, you can integrate your community with your other offerings, usually for a much lower cost. It seems to me that if you don't have a website, or just have a brochure site, that using a third-party platform makes a lot of sense. However, if you already have the site, with products, services, users, and so on, then FluentCommunity is going to be a way to add a community component in a way that enhances your offering without a lot of disruption. FluentCommunity will be a good option for coaches and course creators, as well as for product owners who want to have a user community off of social media. It's good to see more community options for WordPress. With FluentCommunity, the WP Managed Ninja team demonstrates that hosting a community portal on WordPress still makes sense. So that's my walkthrough and discussion of FluentCommunity. Hope you found the video interesting and useful. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It makes a big difference. And remember, there are some resources available on the WebTNG website. Thank you for watching.